YouTube, Dawson Ryder. I know what you're thinking. This guy again. I thought I'd be posting this video tomorrow, but the news came out earlier than I was expecting. Honestly, for some reason, I was picturing it like coming out in the evening, so I was thinking, I'll do it tomorrow morning or whatever, but I had enough time that I was able to get this, and hopefully they hold off on whatever else until after Christmas is over. Like, just one day. Like, I don't know when the toy scans usually come out. I can't remember now, but whenever it comes out, just wait. Anyway. Let's talk about it. So we got an official new poster, a cleaner look at the mecha, as well as some story and plot details and character details. Now the site I'm using is all in Japanese, so I ran Translate on it, so I'm going to be reading it sort of directly. Sometimes I'll paraphrase, sometimes I'll read it directly because it'll sound funny, but the way it's worded might sound kind of funny, and also like maybe there will be some mistranslations, so just I wanted to make note of that. But first of all, let's talk about the superficial stuff. Poster looks great. I mean, we had that first teaser poster, which I'm curious what that was for. Was that like a prototype or whatever? Because it was like watermarked and then someone AI'd it out, but this is like kind of similar. It's like more traditional than the Boom Boongers, like retro feeling posters, but man, it looks really good. Love these suits. I mean, I already said that in every video. This is a reference to those videos, and I'm also celebrating the anniversary of those videos again. This is the anniversary celebration video of the Gozyuger videos, but this is indeed a reference to those references of referencing. The suits look really good here. The mecha looks really good. I really like the poster. I really did love the retro Boom Boonger stuff we had. They had a really, I think, brilliant marketing. I don't know what accent then, but this is good. This is some good ones too, mate. Oh, that was a terrible one. I'm usually better at the accents. I apologize. And we'll be talking about this here in a minute. But you can see, in addition to the wizard rings floating around them, please God, don't do a wizard crossover. Please don't do it. Don't do it. There's also some of those rings we saw from the campaign item, which I thought was just going to be a fun campaign thing. But there's anniversary, they're ride watches. I know they're rings, but they look like ride watches. To be honest, they're pretty fugly, but I'm not into this. But anyway, then we have a better look at the mecha too, like a cleaner look at all 5 of them. So it is the changer weapon thing, and they even talk about it in the little thing, the Tegasword. It's unprecedented that the item is both a transformation item and a weapon. It's unprecedented. Again, this is translated, but that's happened like, I'm not a scientist or a mathematician, but a bajillion times. But obviously it's never happened where it's like a triple changer, which is kind of crazy. Like, I think that's kind of cool, but at the same time, it's like kind of disappointing that you won't be able to pick up like a little wrist changer, a cell phone changer, and then the mecha, but it's still kind of cool. And I think it's way better designed than Lupin X's stuff, like I said. But I guess the individual pieces are going to come from their weapons and not individual Zords. To me, it looked like they could perfectly make individual Zords, but I don't know. I still think this is cool. I still really like the idea. I love the way they look. It's kind of like the Best of Both Worlds Hannah Montana style, where you get the kind of almost 5 warrior robos, but then they're actually just full robos. And I think they can only do 1 at a time, but I would be, no, wait, could they only do 1 at a time? Because like they have 5, each have 5, so they could fight together. I don't know. Regardless, I think they look cool. Now, that we have a clearer look at them, I've seen some people point out that some of these designs may actually include some homages to past Sentai, which I think, I did notice that with Blue, where the lion shield looks like the lion one from Beast Morphers. I can't remember their Japanese names today for some reason. And I can see some influence with Black, with the helmet kind of looking like the Pretazord, which is still Chronicles of ridiculously priced on the aftermarket. Some people were saying Bat for the Green Rangers, which I guess I can kind of see, and then you clearly have a Vice homage with yellows, but you can see that there. So that's the type of anniversary stuff I like, is like what they did with Bokenger, where you have anniversary echoes, but you don't have cameos and a bunch of pointless suits fighting each other. But what's funny to me about this is, if this is true, this is a much more clear, like, hey, we took inspiration from these mecha, than people thinking this was an O-Ranger homage because it was the 35th anniversary of when O-Ranger's cast had cupcakes together. Like, this is like a difference between like an actual homage and like Sentai fans just reaching. Like, they're desperate for anniversary celebration content. I'm like, why are you so desperate for making these connections? They're celebrating an anniversary every 3rd Tuesday. So, let's talk about some story and character details. So first of all, they talk about like the No.1 stuff and the history of Sentai that says like half a century has passed since the start of Go Ranger, and the Sentai series will be celebrating its 50th anniversary. A new Super Sentai will be born in this memorable year. No.1 Sentai Gozyuger, as the name suggests, is the story of how William Riker recruits a series of No.1 Sentais. No, I'm just kidding. It doesn't say that. I wish it was that. The story is about the heroes with motifs of animals, dinosaurs, beasts, which are overwhelmingly popular among children striving to be the best and strongest No.1. I don't know why that just sounds funny to me, like it's a bunch of kids like, I'm going to be a dinosaur No.1! I guess I haven't been a kid in a while, so maybe that's relatable. Of all the Sentai to date, No.1 Sentai Gozyuger aims to create No.1 excitement that transcends the past 50 years and lead the next 50 years as the No.1 work. Well, this is nonsense now, but you get what they're meaning. They're wanting it to be the No.1 because it's the anniversary, and I know that it's the 50th year, I know it, but it still feels like they're just using that as an excuse to celebrate early. Like, just wait for the 50th season. That would just make so much more sense to me. They've never done this before. Like, to be fair, they celebrate on the 5s like a bunch of weirdos, like with Gokaiger. So it would be weird to do, like, the 34th anniversary, you know what I mean? Like, that season before. But, like, I know there was some talk of Ninja having some homages and stuff, and we had the stupid Ninja crossover there, but when that happened, when that was going into the 40th anniversary, they waited to the 40th season to do that Gokaiger thing. Like, I don't know. It just, I get it, 50's a big deal, I'm not saying don't celebrate it, but it feels like they're using this technicality as an excuse. I think it's just my OCD. It's like, it doesn't make sense. You're celebrating 50 on the 49. All right, now let's talk about the rings. I saw the first one. I don't think I've seen the second one. No, I'm just kidding. Those are good movies, though. I like Scary Movie 3 the best, though, as far as rings content. Or, like, you know, I'm going too long about the ring movies. Okay, the rings, Sentai rings, oh boy, are scattered around the heroes. What is their meaning? You know what, you don't even have to tell me. Let's just not even do it. Along the announcement of the new program, the poster visual for this has arrived. There's an exclamation point there. It shows the 5 heroes and the robot, It's describing the poster. It shows that the Red Ranger with his hand raised, blue, yellow, and green jumping. This is unimportant information. I have eyeballs. Furthermore, if you look closely at the Sentai rings, which are key items in the work scattered here, depicted as Tyranno Ranger, Gal Red, Kuwagata Oger, God Kuwagata, Boon Red, and they're spelling it Bun. I know that's how you do it, but I still think it's stupid. So there's going to be a little bit more about those later, but you can see those were some of the ones shown. So now we have some character descriptions, and I know this is like a weird translation, but my favorite thing about this is when it says Goju Wolf, who has the motif of a wolf. I'm glad they cleared that up. I thought it was a clownfish, to be honest, but it has descriptions. So no character names that I can see. I might be blind, and I just said I had eyes, so that's a little bit of a continuity error. But anyway, Goju Wolf is an unsociable and foul-mouthed, but he's strong and somewhat violent. Although he is difficult to approach, he has a good guy heart. Wait, he's a good guy at heart. I don't know why. Now I'm making it. That was my mistake, not the articles. So maybe a bit of a hothead. I'm hoping not an annoying one. Thankfully, with Taya, we actually had like a normal person. So, but I wouldn't mind more of like a angrier character rather than an optimistic loudmouth, but I don't know, we'll see. Goju Lion, in contrast, is a very charismatic warrior who is kind to everyone regardless of gender. That's like very specific. Everyone else in the cast is actually very sexist. Goju Tyrannosaurus is naive and often finds himself in trouble. However, he has incredible strength, so there's no need to worry. Well, I'm naive, but if someone tricks me, I'll just punch him. Okay, Goju Eagle is a fun-loving playboy who takes pride in his agility. Okay, that sounds like a sex thing. Goju Unicorn, this is me reading this, translating it. It just says, this is the first black female to appear among the regular warriors in Super Sentai series. That just sounds so offensive. I know it's a translation, but anyway. Despite her cool personality, she cares deeply about her family. That's weird, because like most cool people hate their families, so that's, you know, it checks out. Okay, so now here comes the meat and potatoes. I don't know why I said that, I'm sorry. So, this is the like plot synopsis. This is... The Gozyugers fight against the enemies sent by the evil army, the No.1 monsters, who are best in all fields. The Gozyugers will engage in various No.1 showdowns with the No.1 monsters. They say #1 so many times in here, do not take a shot every time it happens unless it's milk, you know, strong bones and teeth. The No.1 monsters and rescue people who have been mercilessly caught up in the conflict. At the same time, a battle over the Sentai rings that were scattered throughout the visuals also breaks out. Okay, I was like, what the visuals? And then like, oh, the poster. The 5 are driven to fight and collect all the rings, and also rivals competing for the rings. In addition to the 5, rivals with the powers of previous Reds will appear one after another. Sentai versus Sentai. That's never happened before, except every day. The enemies are the previous Reds and the Go-Riders. Wait, the enemies are the previous Reds and the Go-Jugers. Okay, I don't know if that doesn't make sense. I mean, the previous Reds part, but the enemies are the Go-Jugers? Anyway, there can only be one No.1. So, the last ninja, except everyone's going to be #1. #1 was the friends we made with William Riker along the way. This work has a distinctive feature that is decisively different from previous works. You will definitely not be able to take your eyes off the various battles that occur every week in a relationship where they are both friends and rivals. So, yeah. Mixed feelings. I'm loving everything aesthetically. I think this kind of idea of like this #1 almost tournament thing and fighting over the rings could be kind of cool. It sounds like it could maybe have some unique setup. They did talk about at the very end there the visuals or whatever, and that just got me thinking, I hope they have as good a fights as Boom Boonger's had, because honestly last 2 years have been really good. Like, King Oger was a lot of slow-mo, but still, the fights are pretty cinematic, but Boom Boonger's fights have been fantastic. That's definitely been a highlight. So, you know, if the fights are anything like that for this, whether it's the Gozyugers fights or these, you know, returning has-been fights, that is a good thing. I'm excited for that. So, just mixed feelings on the anniversary stuff. You know, I know it's 50, I'm just a cranky old man yelling at a cloud. You know, I just wish they hadn't oversaturated it so much in the last few years. Like, in general, I feel like I've been drowning since Superhero Time. I feel like they have not stopped to one degree or another. Not Superhero Time, Superhero Tyson. Like, for both Sentai and Rider, like, I feel like they put the pedal to the metal Commander since then, and they just have not let up. And the thing about it for me is, as I've said in the past, is like, the team-ups and crossover stuff used to get me really excited. Like, when Once a Ranger came out, or Bokunger versus Super Sentai, it was so exciting. And now, like, when I hear about it, I'm, like, disappointed that my first reaction is to roll my eyes. And it's just, I think in this particular case, it's just because I think they kept stuff going too much between Zenkaiger and Gozyuger. Like, there was absolutely no reason to do the legacy changes and have those little robots that had past Sentai designs in Down Brothers. Absolutely no reason, at least narratively. Obviously, they did it for marketing reasons, but they never addressed it even a little bit. And then we had the King Oger stuff, or the Kyryuger stuff in King Oger, and then the pointless cameos in Boom Boonger, which were just to sell the stupid Zord Builder stuff. And it's like, if they hadn't have done all that, if they just let it rest after Zenkaiger and then celebrated, you know, Kyryuger's anniversary or whatever else they're doing in their own little Returns movies, or for the, you know, advertising Zord Builder thing, they should have just done one of those little YouTube specials and had a little mini crossover with all of them and promoted it. It just feels like it's not special anymore because they've still been doing it. But I'm going to try to give it the benefit of the doubt. To be honest, the idea of like rival Reds coming in and fighting them doesn't sound the most exciting, because I'm worried it's just going to be like two of my least favorite things about Togu crossovers, which is like soulless suits, so like the actor won't even be there, and then them just fighting. Like, I'm just tired of that. So I don't know. I do think some of the setup sounds interesting. Part of it almost sounds like they had a concept for the season and then were like, how can we fit an anniversary idea into this? And they just kind of shoved it into there, because I think that there's like a cool idea for an anniversary for a season without the anniversary. But maybe that'll work in its favor. Like, the best thing about Gokaiger for me was that its story stood alone. Like, it didn't feel like it was solely a vessel for the anniversary. Like, the story of the Gokaigers was good enough that it didn't feel like they were just a vehicle for the anniversary. But I'd be lying if I said I was excited for the anniversary elements and crossovers, but I hope it's better than I'm thinking. But I'm still excited for this season because I really am liking the aesthetics, and I'm looking forward to seeing the cast and stuff. I'll be curious to see what they do next year for 50, because since they are jumping the gun, I know it's 50, and I should get off of that. But there's no way they're not doing something next year. They have this perfect opportunity to just milk this to all hell and piss me off. So I would be shocked if there wasn't some sort of continuation next year. But anyways, I'll keep you guys updated as usual. You know, I'm hoping that no more news drops until after Christmas, but I think the next thing will be obviously the press conference as we get closer. I think that's next year. But then the toys. I'm really eager to see how the mecha is going to work, because I'm really curious about the transformation. Anyways, guys, until next time, let me know what you think of everything, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps and ring that bell to get notifications for more rants from an old man at a cloud. Wait, I'm not supposed to be at the cloud. I'm supposed to be ranting at the cloud. I guess I would rant both places. Anyway, I'm going to sign out before I keep rambling.